So Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to Dead by Daylight very soon on June 17th, and I'm just not sure if the game is ready for these large new chapters, and I wanted to talk about that today. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Pogesque, and I'm going to have a short video talking to you guys about the health of the game for Dead by Daylight and what this could mean for these new large chapters like Five Nights at Freddy's and possibly Star Wars. We'll talk about that in an upcoming video, but I wanted to kind of go over a few things that the devs have been doing over the past couple months. So as you guys see here in front of you, they're looking to do some quality of life improvements from April on throughout the end of the year. And for phase 1, they've already added a couple of things in the game already, such as the anti-slugging / surrender option that you have been seeing in the matches already. But some future things coming to this new patch in a couple days is gamma settings, go next prevention, hiding and body blocking prevention, spawn rules, and map offer balancing, and improving the AFK bots. So this stuff seems pretty good for the most part, right? I think with one exception that I think is going to hurt the game the most, in my opinion, is the anti-slugging and surrender, which has already been in the game. The reason why I say this, even though it has been implemented, is it kind of breeds these worse players, right? They can kind of use this system to their advantage, whether their killer is kind of preventing survivors from getting access to the system by never downing that last person, or you're a survive with friends and you go against a killer you don't like. You can just use it to have the killer down you in a very convenient way where you never pick yourselves back up and you just unplug from the match. It kind of breeds some really bad players, some really, let's just say dishonest players, because they just don't really want to, do these games and don't want a challenge. They pick the games they want, they pick the battles, and they'll pick their strongest perks. And that leads me to my second point, which is there's still balance issues in the game, right? There's going to be some bugs with the FNAF DLC. We've seen it on D-Strike channel on YouTube. He has shared some pretty bad ones, like ones that will make the game unfun, ones where you literally cannot leave lockers, perks not interacting with his power correctly, stuff like that. Of course, there's going to be some goofy little things happening, like animation glitches or something like that, but I think even people who play Five Nights at Freddy's understand that that's going to happen. Quality of life overall, right? Like fixing bugs, making blood point spending easier, stuff like that, I'm totally cool with. But I just get a bit afraid when you start to punish the killer and not correct the system balance-wise, and instead of making those appropriate changes. You're slapping people on the wrist for playing the game, but you're not correcting the system that you have made over these last 9 years or so. So I get a bit worried, especially when I see this phase 2, July through December. So we have more anti-slugging changes, anti-tunneling, anti-camping, MMR update, and map and item balancing, and some quality of improvements below that. So I will say map and key item balancing, they could update all Survivor items, make them way better, make them more interesting. I think that would be healthy for the game. Survivor has had the same items for the last 9 years. They don't get the changes like Killer does with different characters, different powers, different kits, etc. New perks that interact with these add-ons and powers and stuff too. Very fun to play Killer, but Survivor has been pretty much the same over the last 9 years. Played the same even. So the whole anti-this, anti-that, you get to be a victim of yourself, I think, and the developers need to kind of step back and understand why the players play the way they do. It's because these balance issues happen. The game has been leaning Survivor sided a bit for a while, and there's just a lot of gen speed perks. There's a lot of don't touch this gen I'm working on perks. There's a lot of get my friend off that hook perks, but no penalty. They've been adding these ways to counterplay the killer, but the killer doesn't have any way to counterplay these perks, or just Survivor in general. Like, they're losing their way to counter Survivor, right? Like, they slug somebody for a little bit to get another hook instead of just getting a free flashlight save from their teammate. Stuff like that. So is it all genuine on the killer side? No. Is it all disingenuine on the Survivor side? No. But I get a bit worried when I see these large chapters coming in, and there's a large volume of players who will think DBD is scary. So like they've been brightening the game up, adding, stuff that makes the game not as scary. They've been doing, having some issues with malicious people, but they have been fixing stuff like, banning toxic people, getting rid of cheaters, patching bug abusers, exploiters, stuff like that. They've been doing good, I would say, overall. I just think that when you take these steps in the right direction, people are going to expect leaps, especially because they want this game to do well. This will probably be the biggest peak for DBD ever since the Resident Evil 2 DLC with Nemesis, Jill, and Leon. Very big DLC, very fun characters came out, very fun perks. I think Nemesis especially was the first one with AI companions that move around. I think he is still the only one with AI companions, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so really cool. I think they could do a lot more with FNAF and like chapters coming up. I think they could have added survivors. The map being potentially temporary and having its own queue does worry me a little bit, because if the map goes away because of some licensing stuff, it'll be a bit concerning, getting flashbacks to Stranger Things, but didn't expect Stranger Things to unplug for a while. So all that being said, I am still worried for DBD and these large content changes. I think they should really focus a lot more on making the game healthier, balance-wise, on both sides, and to get more people who play killer on the dev team and the balance team. Like, we need people who to kind of open their eyes a little bit. People can be survivor leaning, because the game does have a lot of people on the survivor side, because it's a 4v1 after all. But you have to consider those who play killer only, or people who play survivor and killer, and people who just want to try out killer. And if you make killer miserable because you're doing anti this, anti that, you're going to make the game really unfun. You're going to have to add mandatory killer bots to the game, and you might as well not even play killer at all, because there'll be no reason, right? So say somebody has an unfun time and the killer disconnects, maybe add a killer bot there, because I mean, it's going to happen more often than you think. And you might say it might be contrary to what I was saying about breeding bad players mentality, stuff like that. But it's going to be a necessary evil at this point, the way they're going to balance the game. Because I say these things to kind of get you guys thinking. Hopefully share these with the devs, talk to them about it, share it with community, get it loud, get it heard. But I think the largest and loudest voice is Survivor side, and they typically aren't looking for the challenges that you and I would be looking for if you're watching this video. So, and of course, if you are watching this video, please do give it a like if you enjoy. Of course, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Am I off in my thoughts? You know, is FNAF going to knock it out of the park with no issues, or are we going to have some expected problems that hopefully that we'll address? So, I love DBD. I think the behavior has been doing a good job so far, but I just worry that sometimes they always lean out the deep end a little bit too much to get in over their heads, and I think they listen to the loudest voices instead of the strongest and most honest voices. So, and of course, don't forget to subscribe down below if you enjoy my content and want to see more. There'll be more coming, DBD, horror game, and other cool content. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.